Hi, my name is Jose, and today we're going to show you how to do a startup on a standard Sencillo E booster pump package. So the first step we want to do is make sure that the skid is bolted down on all four corners onto the concrete pad. Then we'll open up the suction valves on the pumps. The next step will be to open up the discharge valves on each of the pumps. The next step we want to do is bleed the air lines off of our suction header. We'll then come on the back side of the suction header, open up our quarter turn ball valve, and bleed out any air that is in the sensing line. Once that's been completed, we'll close the valve and reattach the tube back onto our suction gauge. The last step we want to do is make sure that we tighten up our tube fitting. Once we have the tube sensing line reinstalled onto the back of our suction gauge, we want to come back and open up our quarter turn ball valve. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and bleed the air out of our discharge side. The first thing you want to do is remove the tube fitting off of the discharge gauge. We want to come on the back side and bleed any air that is in the sensing line by opening up our quarter turn ball valve. Once the air is out and you have a nice stream of water coming out, we want to go ahead and close that quarter turn ball valve and reinstall our tube fitting onto our pressure gauge. Once the sensing line has been reinstalled, we want to go back onto our discharge header and open the quarter turn ball valve. Okay, now we're going to open up our control panel by turning our quarter turns. Once the door and the controller is open, we want to do a visual inspection, make sure nothing broke during shipping or installation. The next step we want to do is check our incoming voltage. We want to check between leg 1 and leg 2, leg 1, leg 3, leg 2, and leg 3. We want to write down our voltage readings so that we can jot it down on our startup report. The next step we want to do is turn on all our circuit breakers for pump 1, pump 2, and our control circuit breaker. Once the circuit breakers have been turned on, we want to close our door. Once the door has been closed, we can go ahead and turn on our disconnect switch. Once the power has been turned on, what we want to do is open up the control door by defeating the locking mechanism on our handle. And we do that by grabbing a pen and inserting it into the black indentation on the collar and opening up the door. Next thing we want to do is check our pump rotation, and we want to do that by going into our pump screen. The next procedure we're going to do it the exact same way for pump 1 and or pump 2. The first thing we want to do is lower our speed in hertz for our hand position. We want to set that to a low number so that when the fan on the motor side is spinning, we can tell which direction it's going. So once we've lowered the hertz, we want to go ahead and press the hand button. Once we press the hand button, we want to determine that the fan on the motor side is rotating in a clockwise position. Once we've determined the position, rotating position of the fan, we can go ahead and shut the pump off. If the motor is spinning in the backwards rotation, the first thing we want to do is turn the breaker off for that particular pump. You'll see that the drive has faulted because it's under voltage, and we want to wait until the drive actually powers down. Next step we'll do is take the cover off by squeezing it on the sides. We'll then slide off the power protective cover on the drive. And what we want to do is swap out any 2 wires on the motor side. Then we'll reinstall our cover. And lastly, put our cover back onto the drive. Once the cover's been installed, we can go ahead and reapply power to the drive.